Hi guys, and welcome back to Leslie Through the Looking Glass. For those of you that are new here, hi, my name is Leslie. I'm so happy you're here. For our returning viewers, as always, thank you so much for coming back to support my channel. It really means so much. All right, guys, happy Mental Health Monday. I am slightly under the weather still, and I'm very congested, so I apologize in advance if I sound funny or if I keep coughing. I'm going to try to get through this. I've had to stop filming twice already, but we'll see if third time's a charm. It is Mental Health Month this month, and I just love any extra awareness that it can bring to this subject because it is so important. And I feel like the more that is talked about, the more that there's less stigma around it, and that is what my goal always is. But yeah, today I want to talk real quick about a Broadway show that is mental health based and kind of give my feelings on it because I was lucky enough to go see Dear Evan Hansen, the Broadway musical, at South Bend Broadway this last weekend, or last week. It was Tuesday night, was opening night. And I really enjoyed the show. I'm going to give a quick synopsis of what it is about, and then just kind of talk about my feelings real quick, and then call it a day. So Dear Evan Hansen revolves around high school students. One of them ends up killing himself, which none of this stuff is shown. But he has a note that he had stolen off the printer in the computer lab from another student who was in therapy for his anxiety and depression, and it was a letter to himself. So everybody misconstrues this as a letter that was written as a suicide note to this other young man. And then it's just the kind of how the story evolves from there. And I thought it was very well done. Whenever there's these like mental health based shows or topics, it's always curious to me to see like if it's believable, if you will. If they consulted with the right people and actually like showcase it in a way that feels authentic. And I feel like in general that is better than it used to be, and this show was done very well. I believe it's a really good stepping stone where it showcased the serious subjects well and seemed like you could relate to it if those were similar struggles that you were having. So there was a lot of the anxious and anxiety themes that I could like feel in my soul and be like, yes, that is how I feel. So I feel like they did a very good job there. But I also think they didn't take it too far where it alienates the group of people that we want to start the conversation with who don't know what those experiences are like. It's like a really good stepping stone to bridge that conversation and start making it seen a little bit more, I feel like. So I thought that was really well done and something that I wasn't sure what it would look like on stage, right? Like, will this only speak to me because I understand it, or will average Joe who has no mental health struggles still also be able to like understand and feel those emotions? And I feel like it was a very well done production from that standpoint for sure. Oh, sorry guys. Oh, I am struggle busing today. But yeah, I really, like I said, it takes a step beyond just the, like the TGI Friday show. They're like, oh, this person has depression and they're sad, and show them crying and give a really like basic, not authentic version of what it is like. This really showcased specific symptoms and things that you feel when you're struggling with those things. So I thought that was really cool to, again, not only to just like, it's always nice to have representation, right? You like to know that, okay, I'm not the only one. But then also like give you another way to show people how you feel. Like you can use that as a resource to people who are willing and wanting to see it and to like be like, oh, okay, this is how these people feel. So yeah, I thought it was really an excellent show. The cast was fantastic. The music was great. All in all, I was very impressed. because there's just, the other part of this is there's just not that much where mental health is the main theme or topic or focus, right? So while it's in shows where like you might have a character who's depressed, the show is not about why that character is depressed. It's just like the side story often. Or somebody shows their like OCD tics or their anxiousness, and that's on a show, but it's not the focus of the show. Like mental health is absolutely 100% the focus of the show, and I think that's a really cool thing. Um, so the only other like prime example that I remember seeing recently in any sort of like TV show, movie, stuff like that. Like there's some movies out there, but um none that necessarily I could relate to. This I felt like, yep, they took some of my stuff and put it right up on that stage. So I love seeing this get out there more and represented more, opening that dialogue, hopefully creating that bridge where people realize that a lot of people struggle from this. It's not so isolating, it doesn't have to be so isolating. That even if you don't struggle from this, you can be a great support system for people that are. Um, I just, like I said, I really appreciated this show a ton. Um, I also am glad though that I went into it knowing a little bit of what to expect. As with anything, when you have these struggles, certain things can just really be triggering and make you feel worse instead of better. Um, for me, that was not the case at all with this show. I just felt, I don't want to say I felt good, but I felt heard or like, I don't know the words I want to use right there. But, you know, I didn't feel worse about it. I didn't feel like they showed this with a way that there was shame associated or, um, you know, something that was seen as a negative. I felt like they did a very good job of showcasing it just authentically and where there needed to just be acceptance of it, which I think is also so important. So, um, I definitely think if you're going to go see it, I recommend it. It was a really good show. If you're on the fence about it, I would do your research and kind of see if you think it would be a good fit for you to see. And if you are, you know, if you think that you can get through it, it was great. But everybody's experience with it will be different. I will say I got very emotional a couple times, um, but not in a like bad way, in a just kind of like emotional release kind of way would be my best way to explain it. Like just kind of like overwhelming because I'm seeing things on stage that are exactly how I feel. And it was interesting too because it wasn't a super packed theater because opening night was on a Tuesday night. But to me, one of the most emotional songs and scenes is right before they go to intermission. And you know the lights came on and I'm tears running down my face, and as I got up to walk around and go get a drink of water, that was happening all throughout the um, you know audience. There was a lot of emotion that it invoked, um, and it was just kind of a cool thing for me to see, you know, that other people were experiencing what I was experiencing too. Whether or not it was because it spoke to them from a standpoint of them feeling that same emotional release of being seen, or if it was because they just had that empathy for what was happening, for what other people go through, um, and stuff like that. It was just really cool to see. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I feel like I've rambled, but I just really wanted to share those feelings. I had originally sat down and tried to like write some thoughts out, but it was hard to do because a lot of it was just such an emotional response. I couldn't like factually sit down and make a little like bullet list. So I hope that was helpful to anybody who might be wanting to see it or who didn't know about it. They might want to check it out. It was a really excellent show. But yeah, so I will be back next Monday with another Mental Health Monday. I'm working on a video for Saturday where I'm making a Disney themed cocktail, and I think that will be a fun little video to throw up on Saturday. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. Maybe try it out yourself. But otherwise, guys, I'll see you next week. Have a good week. Bye.